Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Look, generally ahead of a big election, the TYT, that's the Young Turks network, they're going to be all over the place. Usually very active, very engaged, especially in the primary process. It just tends to be a messy ordeal at that network. But usually there's a little bit of a trend, it'll be months upon months of Cenk and Anna going on and on about why Bernie Sanders should be the leader of the party. Cenk will go on and on about Nancy Pelosi with his eyes bulging and veins popping out of his frickin' neck. Nancy Pelosi this, Nancy Pelosi that. Then they'll go on and on about how Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden is the most corrupt person ever, a fascist, yada yada yada. They'll go on and on. They'll provide all kinds of criticism and opposition during the primary process, but then the moment it switches over to the general election, the moment they've realized that it's over, their candidate isn't going to win, well then they usually fall in line. All of a sudden, the TYT goes from massive progressive network challenging the status quo to total DNC shill network. That is usually the timeline of events. But this year, it's a little bit different. This year, I don't think the TYT's on board. In fact, the eyes bulging, the crazed Cenk Uygur, well, he's still around. This guy, this guy? Yeah, usually he would save this stuff for just Nancy Pelosi and the DNC at large for not bending the knee to his progressive demands. Usually it would only be reserved for a very specific time in the election cycle, but this time, I think Cenk is just perpetually stuck like this. Biden has got this guy losing his you-know-what. This is where progressive voters stand right now. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I guess reality might be setting in. We've been covering all the copium over the last couple of months. Democrats keep pretending as if things are going just peachy. Every month, there's been a couple days there where Democrats are celebrating across all the different social media platforms, telling us Donald Trump is done. Based on their presence online, you would think that they were winning big. But I think reality is probably finally starting to set in, that Donald Trump is leading in every single swing state, and he's possibly on the verge of flipping Virginia, maybe Minnesota, maybe even New York and New Jersey. That's the reality of the election. Joe Biden's crumbling, Donald Trump is thriving. And so at this point, I think they're close to giving up.
I get it. He looks energetic. Biden looks like, come on, guys. The emperor has no clothes. They hate me for telling people that the emperor has no clothes, but my job is in news. We all can see how incredibly old he is. So my point is, for God's sake, pull him. If you don't pull him, we're going to lose to Trump. Why do you want to lose to Trump? Why do you want to give up 10 points? Hate me all you want. And every Democrat says it's my fault. It's people, oh no, you shouldn't tell people reality. They already see it. You've got to pull him if you want to beat Trump. If you don't want to pull Joe Biden, you're saying, I don't mind losing to Trump. I don't mind losing democracy. All the things that I said about Trump, I don't actually mean it. I don't think it's a big deal if he wins. That's why I'm running this guy who cannot move or speak. It's absolute madness.
Yeah. Quote, pull Biden unless you want to lose to Trump. Look at the guy's face. He's going absolutely nutso mode. The guy's completely lost it. He's off his frickin' rocker. But at the same time, he might be the only rational one left. Because the rest of these leftoids, well, they're not saying the same thing. The left is standing behind Joe Biden, and that might be the biggest mistake ever made by the modern Democrat Party. If Joe Biden is truly behind the way that he is behind, and if Joe Biden loses the way that he could, this may be perceived as hyperbole, and frankly, accurately so because it is hyperbole, but we might never see the Democrat Party recover because of what's currently going on. We are seeing the ultimate betrayal. You're seeing numbers like 70% of Democrats openly state that they don't want Joe Biden to run for re-election, yet the DNC is forcing it on them. And this is the reaction. No, we don't want it. This guy out of the race now. That's the reaction. That kind of betrayal is going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths, especially considering the times. People are struggling right now. Right now is a very politically active moment. 2020 was as well, although I'd argue 2020 was more an era of activism more than politics. But right now is politics. Right now is the economy. Right now is gas prices, grocery prices, political priorities. In other words, prioritizing domestic concerns and American taxpayers above foreign interests and foreign nations and foreign peoples. That is the obvious demand right now. That's where people's heads are at. That's the focus. But all the Democrats are focused on is betraying their own people, denying the electoral will of their own party, and of course at the same time attempting to deny the electoral will of the American people by trying to imprison their political opponent. It is a complete betrayal. And that's why we're seeing stuff like this.
Biden and Trump among black voters, compare where we were at this point in 2020, compare where we are now. You know, at this point, look at this. In 2020, Joe Biden was getting 86% of the African-American vote. Look at where it is now. It's 70%. That's a 16-point drop, John. And more than that, it's not just that Joe Biden is losing ground, it's that Donald Trump is gaining ground. You go from 7%, single digits at this point in 2020, to now 21%, to dive deeper into the crosstabs, figure out where is it that Joe Biden is truly struggling among black voters. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump margin. Look at black voters age 50 and older, and you'll see, look, Joe Biden was leading amongst this group at this point by 83 points back in 2020. Now it's 74 points. So yeah, a slight decline in that margin, but nothing out of this world. Look at black voters under the age of 50. Holy cow, folks, holy cow, look at this. Joe Biden was up by 80 points among this group back at this point in 2020. Look at where that margin has careened down towards. It's now just, get this, 37 points. That lead has dropped by more than half, Mr. Berman. I just never seen anything like this. I'm like speechless, because you always look at history and you go, okay, this is a historic moment. If this polling is anywhere near correct, we are looking at a historic moment right now where black voters under the age of 50, which have historically been such a big part of the Democratic coalition, are leaving it in droves.
Joe Biden is bleeding black votes like never before. Also young voters, high-income earners and low-income earners, independent voters. I mean, he's shedding voters everywhere. He's a Democrat incumbent president running for re-election, and he's behind 6 months ahead of Election Day, not just in state polling data, but nationally. And that's because people are pissed. People are pissed when they go to the grocery store. They're pissed when they pump gas. They're pissed when they see the squalor on the streets spawning in their cities. They're pissed, and the response they get is that things are great and evil orange man bad. Therefore elect me because, I don't know, democracy and racist highways. It's completely absurd. The left is abandoning Joe Biden like never before seen. And honestly, instead of me all hyper and ranting into the microphone, let's just end the video on a positive note. Still telling the same story here, but at least it's funny. We'll make the point in meme form, I guess. Basically, what's happening right now is this.
The Fresh Maker.
I am praying that this is what we're going to end up seeing. A total Trump comeback, a Trump resurgence. But like I always say, we'll have to see. But this is where things stand, at least currently. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.